Howdy folks, Eric here, back with another standard brew. Today playing Red-White Daydream Ark of Hunger, hopping into a traditional standard event. I don't know, I love this card. I don't know why, I don't see anyone else really playing it ever, and I know like several of my last videos have involved this card. It is what it is. I just keep making decks with this. This is very similar to a list I played on stream a couple months ago, maybe. When SoS first dropped, I was experimenting with this idea where if you have a practiced Scrollsmith with a Daydream in your graveyard, you can bounce your Scrollsmith, flicker your Scrollsmith, right? Recast the Daydream for 1 white, and keep doing that over and over. Because practiced Scrollsmith, interestingly enough, does not say flashback. It says when it enters, exile target non-creature, non-land card from your graveyard until the end of your next turn. You may cast that card. So it doesn't exile Daydream when you cast it for 1 white, right? So what this does essentially is if you have an Ark of Hunger on the field, you're constantly making your Daydream leave your graveyard, and then when you cast it from exile, it goes back to your graveyard. So effectively, for every 1 white you spend with this combination of cards, you drain your opponent for 1 life. And that, it may not sound like a lot, but like late game, when we grind and grind and grind and eventually arrive to late game where we have like 8 mana to work with, it becomes a pretty quick way to close out the game, especially because like you can do it over the course of turns, right? As long as your opponent doesn't disrupt this synergy, you can like spend all of your mana in 1 turn, untap, and still have access to this synergy, because once again, practice Scrollsmith doesn't say flashback, and it also says you can cast it until the end of your next turn. Okay, so how do we build around that idea? I arrived at the conclusion that you have to play board wipes, basically, if you're going to run Ark of Hunger, because Ark of Hunger is so tempo negative, and like it doesn't do anything when it enters, right? It's just a big janky like value piece. So you need a way to reset parity, basically, to like stabilize, bada bing, bada boom, destroy all creatures. That's a non-negotiable, I think, in the main. Otherwise, we just get ranged by creature decks. We're just too slow. Ark of Hunger is just so like not proactive. It's great at closing out games because it generates card advantage and kills your opponent in a way that's like akin to Unholy Annex, right? But a lot faster if you get like more than 1 on the field, especially. And everything else around this is just a way. It's a deck that tries to get us in that position where we eventually stick an Ark of Hunger and can grind out the game that way. 4 Erode, 4 Lightning Helix, only 3 Daydream, and several creatures that are good for like chumping around and just kind of being annoying, like sticky threats. Like creature removal is not going to be very good against our list because we don't really require our creatures. They're just kind of roadblocks to eventually survive until late game. 4 Novice Inspectors, 4 Starfield Shepherds. We can do the like warp the Starfield Shepherd to Daydream, grab a couple Novice Inspectors, or just constantly hit our land drops, which is really important for this list. We're also running 3 Ghost Vacuums in the main. Sometimes you just catch your opponent on some sort of graveyard strategy, but I find Ghost Vacuum is generically very relevant in almost every matchup, let alone also, you know, there's just the fact that we have creatures that have good enter the battlefield effects, so eventually we're going to be exiling our own graveyard and accruing a lot of value that way. Also, it acts as another way to exile stuff from our graveyard with Ark of Hunger on the field. Essentially, like doubling the rate that you are draining your opponent, you know, across turn cycles. A couple Seam Rips, 1 Pursue the Past. This is kind of a flex spot. I'm not necessarily in love with this. 24 lands today. No utility, really. Just a lot of duels. Notice how I am on exclusively white sources. You could probably justify playing at least 1 mountain. I don't think it's really necessary. We are very white leaning. We only really ever need 1 red source, but once we get into our sideboard, like we do need like double red for Sunspine Links. It's not that big of a deal. I think this makes sense to me, but I do kind of feel like there's maybe an opportunity for some like colored utility lands. I don't think the Boros Man land is very good, but maybe it's good enough to play. You know, just to have something to do. We usually do have something to do with our mana, just by like the nature of making clues or having like a Starfield Shepherd in warp. But yeah, I kind of feel like, you know, if Castle Ardenvale, for example, from Pioneer was in Standard, I feel like that'd be like a really nice fit for us. Anywho, as far as our sideboard goes, some targets for Starfield Shepherd in Curious Farm Animals and Figure Fable, giving us some options with our extra options with the Shepherd. 2 extra Seam Rips. You know, it's really good against that like Mardu discard list that's running around. Seam Rip is probably the best answer to that deck. Couple Voice of Victories, couple Pyroclasms, a couple Antiquities on the loose, just to have, like, once again, removal is not very good against us, and just to hammer that home against like grindier control matchups. Having a threat, quote unquote, that is 2 bodies that also flashes back for 2 extra bodies. It's a slow card. It's not particularly aggressive, but it can create a board kind of out of nowhere. I think it's okay. I've been testing it, and I'm not saying I'm in love with it, but I think it's pretty interesting, and I just want to keep trying it out, see how I settle my opinion there. Playset of Sunspine links in the sideboard. We do have a lot of non-basics, so this is going to be hitting us pretty frequently, but that's not a huge deal. The idea here is, like, I think probably our worst matchup is going to be like the 4-color control lists. We're relatively threat light, and so if they manage to answer our Ark of Hunger with like an inevitable defeat or a Jeskai revelation, pretty likely that we are like out of that game, essentially. So Sunspine Links gives us, you know, along with Voice of Victory and like the Antiquities on the loose, a way to play somewhat toward the board, and also just threaten like kind of killing my opponent out of nowhere with Sunspine Links, right? Another card that, interestingly enough, works pretty well with the Daydream idea, where if you like stick a Sunspine Links, say you hit your opponent for 4 off that, and they tap out for like a tablet or something, right? They don't do anything particularly meaningful. They have stock up, and then you just like hit them, Daydream the Links, and then flashback the Daydream just to kind of like kill them out of nowhere. I think I've done that before. I think it's an interesting idea. I'm not sold that it's the best route necessarily. I'm not really sure. I think it's pretty interesting. I continue to play it. I feel like I wish there was a better solution for that matchup, but I think this is what we got. And it's not that bad. It's okay. And finally, 1 extra Elspeth just to diversify our threats. Okay. Gonna bring this into a traditional standard event. See how it goes. Yeah, hop into match 1 here. Match 1 on the draw. Not an excellent hand, but, you know, keepable. We could lock into a matchup where our Ghost Vacuums are very relevant. Looks like that is not this matchup, probably. However, we are on 4 Day of Judgment in the main, so we could, like, possibly be okay here, depending on how our draws line up. Otherwise, could just get ranched right off the bat. One thing you have to understand about this list, if you are interested in trying it, it is not a fast list. We are in red and white, right? But it is one of the slowest lists I've perhaps ever played. I consistently find myself like we're grinding out like 30-minute matches, basically. To be honest, I recorded a video yesterday with this list. I went 4-1. Yeah, maybe I should have thought about getting the Ghost Vacuum on here. I went 4-1. I played exclusively against green, white, and green-white lists. And that run took me 2 hours. I was playing for 2 hours, which is crazy. 5 matches in 2 hours, which is, you know, normal for Paper Magic, but on MTGA you expect a little bit of a higher pace. And I for some reason OBS, my recording software, did not have was not recording, so that is lost footage. Unfortunately, I thought it was a pretty good run, but hopefully we'll face a little more diversity this time around. Okay, so we do draw our Day of Judgment. I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and stick a Ghost Vacuum here, and then play into Sacrifice a Clue, hold back some Chumperinos. I feel like I could be in danger here. Depends on how much my opponent decides they want to commit to the board. They have an Ice Till. Feeling pretty good about my board wipe situation. They crack a Fabled Passage. I'm gonna go ahead and eat this Fabled Passage. Keep them off of easy access. They might have another land in hand, or they might mill into another land. But I think spending my Ghost Vacuum activation here makes sense to me. They're going to be turning on their Earthbender Ascension, presenting some pretty real threats here. Unlikely to be able to outright kill me unless they mill into another fetch, which they do, and have a Might Form Harmonizer. So I could be dead here. That is just how these things go sometimes, I suppose. They decide to play a Bossing Say from hand instead. Mill over a Harmonizer here. Okay, I'm feeling okay. 2 cards left in hand. With the Bossing Say on the field is a little unfortunate, but we have our grind piece in hand, couple Ghost Vacuums to present a pretty strong late game with, as long as we can survive the next few turns. Opponent's Badge Mole Cub looking a little measly. No reason not to double block here, although it will send the signal that I'm about to board wipe. Okay, there is another land drop. I must have miscounted there. So that's their second land drop for the turn. See if no Harmonizer in hand, otherwise I think they would have gone for it. Let's see if they commit anything else here. They just cracked the escape tunnel. Okay. Grab a forest, trigger their stuff. Continue to grow the cub. I would love to see them commit like another Ice Till here. Just to, I don't know, yeah, there we go. Okay, commit another Ice Till. I don't know if I agree with this. I mean, you're seeing double Novice Inspector, so you're probably not expecting like Day of Judgment blind from your opponent, but here we are. Happy to nab another Ice Till, leaving them with 1 card in hand next turn. Well, drawing into a second, I suppose. With a Bossing Say on the field, so it's not nothing. I'll go ahead and double block this in this cub first. Let them decide what they want to do. We'll take 2. Yeah, I think they should have sussed out this block maybe a little ahead of time, but once again, you don't necessarily expect Day of Judgment from Boros Novice Inspector. I feel like people probably are conditioned to expect like Convoke, you know? Not that that's in standard anymore. I'm definitely going to go for the board wipe. The question is, do I exile the forest to keep it from coming back, or do I save my Ghost Vacuum activation to start like accruing creatures? Keeping the forest from coming back is not hugely important here. It'll keep them down a land. I guess it keeps them from like drawing another Bossing Say and activating it twice, I think. It's probably worth it. Hit you with the Day of Judgment. Earthbend, you know, typically it'll come back from exile or going to the graveyard, but if you put their Earthbend creature land into the graveyard and then exile it from the graveyard, because it's like moving zones, Ghost Vacuum actually helps you, you know, you can keep their lands from coming back, as opposed to Rest in Peace, which is a completely different scenario. Leave them with kind of nothing here. And I'm actually happy to have 2 Ghost Vacuums online. It means my Ark of Hunger is going to be setting a pretty fast clock for my opponent to have to deal with. Question is, like, if they have another Ice Till in hand, that's not great for me. This is kind of annoying, the fact that they're able to present like a pretty hefty beater right off the bat. They decide not to commit this as a 5/5. That could be a mistake. Draw another Seam Rip, not very useful here. Let's play our Ark. Best hit probably right now is just like an Erode maybe? Or a Plains, just a basic Plains. I mean, I'll take the Sacred Foundry. Drain my opponent. Go for the Ghost Vacuum. We have a little bit of fight left in us. These Seam Rips not looking very good here, but this Bossing Say is kind of a problem. I feel like if there's really any sort of utility I would want for this list, it's the Hamlet. I believe it's a Hamlet. The new Secrets of Strixhaven, like, turn off your utility land piece. I don't really exactly remember the name for it, but I feel like being able to turn off Bossing Say, being able to turn off Fabled Passage, you know, Bossing Say the most important thing, really, but just turn off my opponent's mana lands. I feel like that would be a pretty big deal for this list. However, colorless sources are a little rough. I think you could maybe justify the first one, but we need to be able to cast the Practiced Scrollsmith on turn 3 in certain scenarios, and it requires all colored sources, so opponent swinging in for 4 here. Best draw, just another Day of Judgment here, I would say. They just hit me for 4. No cards left in hand. Start activating our Ghost Vacuums on myself. Draining my opponent. Trying to stabilize a little bit. My life total is pretty irrelevant against the Mossborn Hydra, but it's still kind of relevant if I manage to deal with the Hydra, right? I have a couple extra looks here. One off the Ark. I have a clue to sack. Well, there's the Day of Judgment. Let's go ahead and activate the Ark. Just try to hit a land here. We do hit a land. Go for the Day of Judgment. Might as well exile this forest. Although, maybe just building up more drain is the important thing here. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna let that happen. I don't think them getting an extra land there matters too much. Play our Sacred Foundry tapped, preserve our life total a little bit more. Pass it back. Feeling pretty good now. I mean, this is kind of the goal of the deck, right? Exhaust your opponent's creatures, resources, etc. And restabilize, essentially, in a major way with Ark of Hunger, both on the card advantage avenue and on life total, right? Very similar to Unholy Annex, however, different colors, and I think a little more abusable than Unholy Annex. It requires more effort, right? Because you kind of have to build around it in a way that you don't necessarily have to commit to building around Unholy Annex too much. But in this case, you definitely need some support. And I think, like, the fact that you can just support it with Ghost Vacuum is a pretty big deal, because it's a very generically powerful card. And even in matchups like this, it's got some uses, but beyond just being graveyard hate, it also presents like a form of longevity and card advantage with its 6-mana activation. Continue to drain my opponent here. I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, they definitely have some top decks, but the problem with this mono green landfall list is they're going to run out of cards eventually, right? Unless they top deck hot. And once you kind of crest this once you start just generating more cards than them, it's pretty hard for them to recover. Drawn to an erode. Okay, well, we'll erode the forest. I could wait on this. I'm just gonna go for it now, because I think I want to like cast the Scrollsmith and exile something. I could also just hold on to the Scrollsmith, but I think that's okay. Okay to cast it, but I don't know. I guess the Scrollsmith doesn't really contest their Earthbent creatures very much, their Earthbent lands. Maybe it's just better to hold on to it for now. Like, I'm already kind of winning. Just wait until I decide whether I need the erode or the Day of Judgment. So maybe I crack the clue now. You know, I'm realizing, though, the problem with this line, I just realized, is I think I do want to go for the erode, because if they top deck another Harmonizer, I'm just kind of dead to that. So I think I did make a bit of an error there. I'm going to cast the Scrollsmith here anyway, but I'm not going to be able to access this erode because I spent the mana to crack that clue. Oops, hopefully it doesn't pan out that way. Cross our fingers. Cross our fingers. Drain my opponent, pass it back, put something out there. Hope they don't top deck. Sapling Nursery is very good, but it's not kill me immediately territory, right? I wonder how many basics they actually do play. Activating Bossing Site. Surprised that they're not putting it on the Fabled Passage here. Okay. Let's see. Check in with my ghost vacuums. I'm more likely to want to pop this one, so let's use this to exile a good creature from my opponent's graveyard. I think getting an Ice Till online is really huge at a certain point. Just being able to, like, play lands from my graveyard to trigger the Ark. And then we'll use this one to exile my Day of Judgment here. I might not win this at this point. Drawing a Sapling Nursery with 2 Fabled Passages on the field is pretty good for them. We do hit another Ark of Hunger off of our top deck here. And another Ark of Hunger off of our Ark of Hunger. So I'm going to go for that. They really start to add up once you get multiple on the field. Pursue the Past. Okay. I'm happy to get rid of some of these seam rips here, I think. Although maybe if I just had stuck the 3rd Ark, did I kill my opponent then? I don't know. I feel like I might as well go for this Erode, right? I can keep the forest from coming back with the Ghost Vacuum. They're only going to be able to make a couple saplings. But I feel like I maybe have put myself out of danger of, like, Mightform Harmonizer top deck by doing this, right? Because, like, they have, if they want an attacker, they have to crack their Fabled Passages, but in doing so, they take the, kind of the option of the Harmonizer top deck kill away. Wait. Didn't I exile their forest? Wait. Did I exile the wrong forest? Someone clip that. I genuinely have no idea how they got a tree folk there. Well, that's not great. Still, they kind of have to kill me here, right? Otherwise, I just kill them with this setup next turn. Ball's in their court. I really don't know how they, did I just misclick? Alright. Earthbender Ascension triggers. They've got guys. They're crossing their fingers. Oh no, they're just committing to this. Yeah, I think this is wrong, unless they top deck an Ice Till at this point. Ice Till top deck maybe wins it for them. Probably not, though. Because I'm actually at 19 right now with my Ghost Vacuum activation. They're committing all of their fetches, taking Mightform Harmonizer top deck off the table. What do they draw? They draw Earthbender Ascension. Yeah, that's not enough. See if I hit them with a good game. If they'll scoop it up here. I don't usually do that, but once again, this is such a grindy list that I'd rather save some kind of time here. Oh, they're saying good game back. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see whose good game is stronger. Exile something from my graveyard. Just go with the Seam Rip. And then I can just chump one of the Tree Folk. They have no way to generate more land drops. I don't have to block a forest. This is not lethal. GG. On to game 2. What a grind of a start of a game match thing. What a start. What a grindy grind. What a grindy grind we got on our hands. And they scoop it up. Could have done that sooner. Could have done that sooner. Just saying. on to game 2. On to game 2. Okay. Against mono green Landfall, we're pretty, like, built to be kind of good in this matchup from the get-go. I'm not saying this is like a favored matchup or anything, but the fact that we're on our Day of Judgments in the main is kind of the idea here. I think on the draw, we're somewhat incentivized to play Pyroclasm. It's not good, but there are going to be some certain scenarios where we land this on turn 2, and it is very good. And And I think, generally speaking, like, this is a pretty tough matchup on the draw. I think if they manage to have a pretty fast start, and we don't have our removal, it could be hard to survive. So I think taking that risk of like bringing in a suboptimal card that has a specific scenario where it's very strong probably gets us some points. Let's cut a Daydream. Let's cut a land. And maybe an Elegant Parlor here. And try to run it like this. There's maybe an argument for the Curious Farm animals too, to be able to like fight against sapling nurseries that we've seen. Let's go for that. Cut a Pursue the Past. Otherwise, I think this makes sense to me. Yeah, try it like that. Okay, on the draw. Not a great hand, but I am going to keep it. Lands and spells. If my opponent stumbles at all, we at least are like going to guaranteed get online eventually, right? Play the Inspector, pass it back. We have a Helix for a Badgermole Cub if we need to, or a Mossborn Hydra, I suppose. Bristly Bill. Pretty happy to Helix Bristly Bill, and we draw a Day of Judgment, which is a really big deal for us. I think like the difference between our win rate in this matchup probably in games where we see Day of Judgment versus games where we don't at all. It's got to be ginormous, honestly. We draw another Lightning Helix. I'm just going to keep them off of the extra mana here. It looks like they chose to keep a 2-lander, which is interesting for a Landfall deck. Soul Guide Lantern. We don't actually really care about this that much. We do care about Rest in Peace a little bit, but this sort of like one-time like graveyard hate piece really actually doesn't do a whole lot against us. And there's a Pyroclasm. And this is one of those scenarios where Pyroclasm's pretty good, I think. Rest in Peace is good against us. It keeps our turns off our Scrollsmiths, takes away like the flashback opportunity from Daydream, right? And also turns off the drain piece of Ark of Hunger, but you can still actually do the card advantage thing through Rest in Peace, which is nice. I think I'm going to go for the Starfield Shepherd Warp here. Just grab a Novice Inspector. Actually, maybe I'll grab a Curious Farm Animals. I don't think it super matters. I'll take the Inspector here on the first go around and then plan to just cast this next turn, I think. Assuming things are, you know, the same here. They hit their third land drop. They have a Mossborn Hydra. We know they don't have a fourth land, right? Unless they're just like holding on to it to use in conjunction with the Hydra here. I think I'm just going to play the Inspector, pass, plan to pop both the clues, see what they decide to commit here. I'm at 26, which means like if they have top deck a Fabled Passage and Ice Till for 4 land drops, 2, 4, 8, 16, that doesn't kill me. So I think this is okay. See if I can get them to commit another something to the board here first, right? They do have a Promising Vein to crack. They have another Soul Guide Lantern. Yeah, I think they got the wrong read here. I don't care about my graveyard that much, you know what I mean? Like, I care about things leaving my graveyard specifically. They sack a Soul Guide Lantern. They do hit a 4th land drop. Grow the Hydra. I mean, if I just draw like another Lightning Helix here, I'm feeling okay. Another Shepherd. I might just have to wipe the board here. Because now we're in like Ice Till plus Fabled Path. Oh, there's an Erode. Oh, that's good. Seam Rip. I'm going to go for the Erode right now. It'll accelerate their ability to Sapling Nursery, if that's what they have, but this also lets me, like, go for my Starfield Shepherd, right? Which lets me grab a Curious Farm Animals if they have the Sapling Nursery, so I think this is okay. Otherwise, I think I'd have to board wipe, just based on how, like, out of hand Mossborn Hydra can get. And I'd rather see the result of this now before I let them untap, right? So I can decide if I want a Shepherd or board wipe. Let's just grab the farm animals here. Gives me more options next turn. Hit you for 1. Pass it back. I mean, if they have the sapling nursery here, it could be good. Could be good. They also like need to maybe top deck a fetch in conjunction with it to really pay it off. Just a forest. Okay. Not the best sapling nursery in the world, right? We draw into an Ark of Hunger. That's pretty good. Just gonna bop their nursery here. I think I'm probably just gonna seam rip this tree folk as well. And I'm going to warp this shepherd for a plains, because we need to hit our land drops every turn with this deck. That's kind of one of the critical ways that we overwhelm our opponent. Like, our cards are... The deck is basically designed for the cards to go forever, as long as you have the mana to support that. Starfield Shepherd finds Novice Inspectors, right? Novice Inspector redraw into Shepherds, keep that going forever. Eventually hit an Ark of Hunger, letting us play multiple cards per turn, right? Replay the Starfield Shepherd from Warp, or we draw into like our Scroll Smiths, which lets us play an Ark from the graveyard, so on and so forth. So hitting our land drops is super important to open up the potential of like our multi-card plays. We're on to another Day of Judgment with the Ice Tail on the field. I guess I'm just gonna go for my Ark here. They don't have a fetch. They have this Promising Vein. No way to get trample necessarily. So if I just leave back a Novice Inspector to block with, they can't really combo me here. They're thinking about cracking the Soul Guide Lantern. This doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. That's so weird. Hit a land. Okay, I'll take it. Just gonna hit him for 3 in the air. Pass it back. Pretty good start here for us. I think we'll get the little match win here. Esper Origins, flashback. They don't hit a land to put in the graveyard. They do draw an Earthbender Ascension. Keen-Eyed Curator. Yeah, see, we don't care about this either. Really. If they want to start exiling stuff out of my graveyard for 1 mana to drain themselves 1 in the process, go ahead. Draw another Day of Judgment. Activate the Ark here. Hit a Lightning Helix. Okay, nice. I'm just going to hit him. I'm going to go for the Day of Judgment here. Oh, they don't block the Novice Inspector. Interesting. Helix your face. Put you to 4. I'm at 32, which is actually like a pretty relevant number to be at. If you think about how the being at 33 is kind of like good against mono green landfall, right? Because a lot of their sequencing results in a 32 power creature often. So not the worst number to be at. Encroaching like a nice little safety bubble for ourselves. Another Soul Guide Lantern. Yeah, they got the read wrong. They got the read wrong. Okay, drain ya. And they scoop it up. Okay, great. They realized their mistake. 3 Soul Guide Lanterns, and a Keen-Eyed Curator. Not really the play. On to the next one. Match 2 on the draw. Good opener. I mean, really, you know, it depends a little on what we're up against, but a nice variety of answers to meta decks right now. And we draw into a Novice Inspector, which gives us a little bit of a board. You know, we're never going to really win the game off of the back of our Novice Inspectors, but it's something to do on turn 1. It works nicely with the Daydream, right? That's basically it. It chumps. It can chump. Opponent has an Ashling Rekindled. Would have been a nice opportunity for a Seam Rip. I don't think I want to go for the Erode here. I'm not really sure what they're on necessarily. I think I'm just going to play a Ghost Vacuum, hold up the Erode. I'm thinking Kona. I'm thinking 4-color Elementals. I haven't seen Elementals in a long time on the ladder, though. I feel like that's really fallen out of favor. They do flip the Ashling. Generate some mana here. if they can do anything with it. They have a roaming throne. Okay, so it looks like straight up elementals. Been a while, truly, since I've seen this list. Day of Judgment, classically a pretty good card into this matchup. I think I'm going to hold off on the Erode. Just let them maybe go for the roaming throne situation. Actually, I'm going to go for a really nice little fun cheeky move that you can do. I'm going to Erode my Novice Inspector for ramp and then just go for the turn 3 Day of Judgment here. I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm not really giving up too much. I can start also just like eating my inspectors here with the Ghost Vacuum. Feels pretty good. And we do draw into the Seam Rip here, but not going to need it. Go for the Day of Judgment. Pass it back. Putting some relevant stuff in my opponent's graveyard to Ghost Vacuum. They do hit another Roaming Throne. Yeah, that's kind of scary, to be honest. We're going to need to top deck kind of well here, I think. If I just, like, run out the Ark... If I just run out the Ark, a lot of their elementals are pretty good answers to that, right? Like, if they're on Deceit, but also Wistfulness, being able to eat both my Ghost Vacuum and my Ark would feel pretty bad. I think I kind of have to, like, just crack the clue. See if I hit an Erode or eventually a Day of Judgment here. They do need another land. They do need... maybe you just go for the Ark. I'm not really sure. I think they could blow me out, right? But maybe I just rip this. I do hit a land, so at least I get something off of it. Threatening to pop my Ghost Vacuum next turn is not nothing. But if they have the Wistfulness here, it's very good. Vibrance. I can live with Vibrance. Okay, this is the best case scenario for me by a lot. So I get to untap with my stuff. They're going to bot me for a nice chunk and gain a nice chunk. But at least I untap with things. They find a Quarry Mountain Monastery. They find probably a Cavern of Souls. Yeah, I don't really care about that. Hit me for 4. Okay. Well, we've got a window here to top deck nicely. Exile the Ashling there. Enchanté, Day of Judgment. And we hit another Ghost Vacuum, which is nice. That accelerates our clock quite a bit. I tap Sacred Foundry, pass it back. Double Day of Judgment. I mean, kind of exactly what we want to see here. They have another Vibrance. It's fine. Fine, not great. I'm curious to know if they're going to go for, like, the Pit of Offerings at any point to feel like they need to attack my graveyard. And they do grab the Pit. Interesting. I don't know. I'm going to let... Oh, they decide not to play it. Okay. They're just holding on to it, saying, like, do I need this? They skip on a Thunderflock. I'm going to grab their Roaming Throne with this Ghost Vacuum. I think I'm pretty likely to pop this one. And then start exiling stuff out of my graveyard with the other one to stabilize my life total a little here. Crack the Ark. I might go for the Ghost Vacuum here. I think I do. I'm gonna get a lot of like redraw triggers, which I think is pretty relevant here. Name Elemental. Name Elemental. Maybe I should have named Human. Oh, I should have named Spirit, because they're all spirits with Ghost Vacuum. And then I would have gotten extra clues and extra redraw triggers. Okay. If you ever find yourself in this scenario, that's actually like a really pro move. I definitely didn't consider it, but it's probably the correct option. I don't think Seam Rip's hitting anything. Skip on a Parlor here too. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that result. Pass it back. They're all spirits. That would have been next level, like, not my first Ghost Vacuum sort of scenario, right? But a nice little kernel of knowledge to take with me to future matches. Or games 2 and 3. We'll see how that goes. Go ahead and block the Vibrance here. The other interesting thing about Ghost Vacuum is it's a card that you might expect that would put finality counters on your stuff, right? But it doesn't. So when I block with that Novice Inspector, it goes back to my graveyard, and I can start the cycle anew with this second Ghost Vacuum. And I think all of that's pretty good. Do I want to transform my Ashling? I don't actually have blue mana, so I can't. But I do get the joy of seeing the triggers on the stack. Activate first Ark. We hit a Lightning Helix, so I'm going to play the second Ark first. Activate second Ark. Probably just want to land off this. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't think my opponent can really win at this point. I'm just, like, gaining too much life. Too many things for them to deal with. They have to, like, go Roaming Throne into Wistfulness probably at this point, but I might be too far ahead anyway. Pop them. Pass. Got a lot of options. They activate the Quarry Mountain Monastery. And they scoop it up. Okay. Board wipes stay winning. Board wipes stay winning. There's maybe an argument for Sunspine Links here. They're on, like, all non-basics. But I think really we just want... you know, it's also an elemental. So it doesn't get blocked by Sunderflock. It's okay. I think we can definitely cut the Seam Rips. Well, maybe not. The Seam Rips are good against Ashling and the other elemental mana dork. Maybe we just run it back like this. Exactly like this. Yeah. Maybe there's an argument for a Lynx. Like the first Lynx could be okay. I don't know. I kind of feel like it's maybe board wipe or die. Manage their early mana generators, so on and so forth. They give me the play? I never understand when people do that. I'm always flabbergasted. Do we want this Novice Inspector? I think it's okay. We could do the cheeky, like, erode thing again. Which is actually, honestly, not that cheeky. The acceleration off of that's pretty relevant. They have an Ashling. They give me the play. They discard a Flame Braider. I am going to go for the erode thing here. I think just getting, like, my mana open faster than them is pretty relevant. On to another Plains. I'm going to go Warp the Shepherd and plan to crack this clue here. I'll just grab an Inspector here. I already have a Plains in hand. Pass it back. Trying to dig for a board wipe at this point. They have the throne. We do have an erode for that this time around, though. Hits me for 1. Crack the clue. Board wipe. Pursue the past. Board wipe. Hey, board wipe. Hey, it's board wipe. All right, sweet. We will take it. Play our Novice Inspector. Pass it back. Big chillin'. They go for a Winter Night Stories. Okay. I think I'm probably just going to play a Starfield Shepherd next turn. Unless I draw a land. If I draw a land, I might go, like, Pursue the Past? Yeah, I'm just going to play the Shepherd. Once again, I think it's just so important to hit your land drop every turn. I'm going to take the guaranteed route. Puts a pretty relevant body on the field. I get to hold up Erode if I really want to use it. Five mana. Passing. Weird. Run Elegant Parlor. I'm going to hit them. I'm going to cast this Pursue the Past, I think. Probably discard this extra land here. I know I said that thing about hitting land drops, but I'm probably going to draw another land in the next 3 draws here, right? So All about riding that line, I think. They have an Unagi of Kyoshi Island. Well, fortunately for me, I can waterbend to kill this off. Interesting. I didn't expect the Unagi. No one expects the Unagi, I suppose. I do want to resolve this Pursue the Past. Hit another board wipe is nice. We'll play our land. Pass it back. 6 mana, now available for my opponent. No clear access to the Winter Night Stories, although pretty much any of their elementals will allow them to do it. They fully cast a Deceit here, pouncing my clue and taking Day of Judgment? I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I can access Day of Judgment no matter what. The line of like flashing back Day of Judgment with Practice Scrollsmith gives you a lot of late game flexibility against these kinds of decks. But they take the Scrollsmith and go for a Pit of Offerings. Interesting. Erode, Pursue the Past. Okay. I draw a land. Not the best draw. Hit them for 3. I think I'm just going to hold the line here. Might as well play the land. It lets them know what I drew, but better to just play it, I think, than to nurse it. We'll take 5 here. Surprised that they didn't just jam the Winter Night Stories. Curious to know what's in hand. Wistfulness. Okay. Not their best wistfulness. Feels like I probably have to wipe the board here, though. Go for the Winter Night Stories. I mean, my best draw in this position is just like an Ark into another Ark, probably. Draw an Ark, activate it. Hit an Ark, something like that, you know? Back to me. Draw a land. Hit him for 4. Maybe I'm not supposed to wipe the board. Maybe I'm just supposed to hold the line here. Threaten drawing just like another Lightning Helix. Play the land. I'll pass here. I'm not dying to this attack, right? Drawing, they're dead to like another Lightning Helix, or, you know, I also have to connect with the Shepherd, right? Or Ark probably kills them on top of this Lightning Helix and the Shepherd connecting. Daydream would be kind of good as a value draw right now. We have another Winter Night Stories. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think maybe I just Lightning Helix their face at the end of turn here. The most mana efficient thing I can do, I think. Elegant Parlor. Yeah, I'm gonna hit them for 3. Play the Parlor. Starfield Shepherd on top. I'd say that's a pretty good top deck. Yeah, I'm just gonna wipe the board here. I mean, if they have like a negate, right, I'm probably dead. We'll see what they got. Spider Sense. Picking up a Deceit. I see. Okay. Not necessary. No, I am dead. I am dead. Okay. They just bounced my Novice Inspector. Okay. All right. Kind of a bad series of top decks for us there, but not the end of the world. We get to play again, game 3 here. Maybe I do want the Figure of Fable as like a relevant late game grab. Maybe over Pursue the Past here. I don't know. Let's try it like this. Try it like this. On the play. Game 3. Okay, not a great hand, but lands and spells. Just gonna start leading on my tapped lands here. Try to probably dig for a board wipe first and foremost. Seam Rip would be a good hit to answer an early mana dork. Skip on Novice Inspector. I think I have plenty of those. Ghost Vacuum. That's not bad. Skip on a land. Play the Novice Inspector here. Gives me the option to crack the clue if I'm like desperate to try to hit a Seam Rip. Oh, and they scoop. They kept a terrible hand and they scoop. Okay. Bad data. Good for my record. On to the next one. Match 3 on the play. Pretty good hand. I think this is considered one of my probably best openers. Just a lot of options. You know, a guarantee that we're going to like have gas forever, basically, in the form of this Starfield Shepherd. Nice mix of interaction. Just go ahead and grab a plains off of this Shepherd. Keep the land drops flowing. Great hand. I think I would keep this in any game, in any matchup, pretty much. Sultai from my opponent could be a problem, although early Ghost Vacuum might you know, similarly be a problem for them. We draw a Novice Inspector. Let's just go for that. Plan to cycle it. Pass it back. See what they go for here. You know, anytime you see Sultai, I feel like you got to assume it's some kind of Caballero situation. They do have a Witherbloom Charm for my Ghost Vacuum. Pretty nice for them. I mean, with Witherbloom Charm, maybe it's like a Delian Fell sort of affair. They go for the Deceit. Let's see if they realize that I can cast Ghost Vacuum off my Scrollsmith. They do take the Scrollsmith. Go for a redraw. Get to see an extra couple cards here. Okay. Well, I guess we're playing the Parlor. Nothing to do with our mana, really. Then for 1. Thinking about going for an Erode on my Inspector here. No Caballero. Alright, we'll just keep hitting him, I guess. Gonna play the Shepherd. Grab another Inspector. Keep the cards flowing. They have a Quandrix Charm? I guess you got it. It doesn't seem super playable to me. I guess it hits Rest in Peace in the main. Okay, so this is not like a... I mean, they probably are on Caballeros, but this is a more control-leaning variant. Probably just using Caballero as a combo, or as a value piece rather than a strict combo piece. We do draw into an Ark of Hunger. See if this is any good. I know I just got Quandrix Charmed, but I doubt they have more than like 1 or 2 in the deck. So I'm not going to play around that Spell Pierce effect. Cast the Ark. Hit him for 1. We do hit a land drop, which is nice. Pass it back. The Ancient Cornucopia is a little bit of a problem for us. Just the passive life gain is pretty nice against our strategy, but they do have a Wistfulness here as well. Unfortunate. Manages to hit the Ark. A lot of answers to my Ark in their main deck here. In the form of Deceit, Wistfulness, presumably Caballero. And my Seam Rips are going to be dead this matchup. So it's kind of unfortunate to see them both here, game 1. On to a Lightning Helix. Just go ahead and pass, I suppose. The only way I think we can win from this position is we, like, draw into another Ark and manage to stick it, basically. Or hit him with a string of Starfield Shepherds. I could also draw a Scrollsmith at this point. I think that could be okay. Black Cat, Cunning Thief. Okay, I don't love that. They could hit a Daydream and go for a Daydream Flicker on the Black Cat. So I'm going to let them resolve this and see if they go for that. I do have this Lightning Helix in hand that they don't know about, so it could catch them off guard. I'd hate to see them grab like an Ark. I feel like that would be pretty hard for us to deal with. Ghost Vacuum, that's nice for them. Okay. No Daydream. Well, I can seam rip the Ghost Vacuum, which is good. I guess I'll just pass here. Go for the seam rip and then go for the Lightning Helix. And now, if this seam rip leaves, I'll get the Ghost Vacuum back, which is nice. They might nab like my... Oh, they nab my other Ghost Vacuum. Okay. Play Parlor. Erode. Doesn't really do anything. I'll just skip on that. We need a heavier hitter, I think. Helix the cat. I guess this opens up the opportunity for them to Caballero the black cat, which would be not ideal for me. I gain a lot of life. Yeah, I think I'm fading fast here, but we have like some pretty good sideboard cards here. I think the Sunspine Links might line up pretty well against their mana base, and they're sort of like somewhat reliant on life gain to stabilize here. Draw Pursue the Past. That's pretty good. Try that out. Get to skip on this Seam Rip, which is nice. Day of Judgment, Lightning Helix. I'm gonna rip this. I think I'm gonna skip on the Lightning Helix here. Day of Judgment is more likely to serve me long term. We hit an Ark, which is nice. Try to hit you for one. Flare land, pass it back. Okay, not the worst turn for us. Let's see if they rip another Rakshasa's Bargain. They Witherbloom Charm the Seam Rip. Dog. Don't you know? It's my Ghost Vacuum. Thanks. Awaken the Honor Dead. Okay. Probably going after the Ghost Vacuum again. That's so funny. Well, let's take this opportunity, I guess, to eat their, like, Deceit. I mean, it's all bad. There's no real, like, great option here. Deceit's probably the best, like, individual thing for them to be doing. Maybe it's Wistfulness. Or Black Cat. I don't know. There's, like I said, no great option here. I just take the Deceit. It's just got the most flexibility. Hate to see the Ghost Vacuum go. Oh, they cast a Starfield Shepherd. Do you have any targets for this? You don't. That's so weird. We draw into a practiced Scrollsmith. That's kind of huge. I can get my Ghost Vacuum back online. Let's play the Ark. We hit a land. I'm gonna get my Ghost Vacuum back online. I think that's a pretty big deal. Drain my opponent a bit in the process. Now they kind of have two important things to deal with here. Pass it back. Mill 3. Get to see more of their list. Definitely on the control-y end of the spectrum here. Cast a Deceit. Bouncing my Ark. I guess I'll exile my Starfield Shepherd then, or my sorry, my Scrollsmith here. Take the opportunity to drain them one. It doesn't seem like I'm gonna need my Ghost Vacuum activation anymore this turn. Seems okay. Hits me for 3. Back to me. Novice Inspector. Maybe I just wipe the board here, right? Maybe I continue to wait, use my, like, chumps while I have them. Play a Novice Inspector, go for a redraw. Land. Okay. Play the land. Pass it back. Trigger their Awaken the Honor Dead. Let's see if they go for a discard. I can snipe whatever they target if they do. They discard a Shoot the Sheriff. Interesting. Yeah, not super good against me. Targeting Black Cat. Well, I'm definitely not going to let you do that. I mean, I would love to actually, now that I think about it, activate, like, sacrifice my Ghost Vacuum with the Black Cat under it. Seems incredibly good. Okay, but they do have a Deceit, and they do have to go for this because it's just so incredibly good if I get to do that exact line, right? Take away the Ghost Vacuum, trying to put this game into, like, a neutral state, pretty much. I guess I might as well block with everything. Erode. Not the worst draw. Not the worst draw. I'm going to wait one more turn on this Day of Judgment, I think. Take the chump with the Novice Inspector while I have it. Rakshasa's Bargain. Gaining a lot of life. Gaining a lot of life. Man, it would have been nice to crack that Ghost Vacuum that turn. Do a chump. Firing Vantage. Wipe the board. Play the Vantage. Pass it back. Keep things moving. Second Cornucopia. Nearly infinity life, but I do have... Ooh, there's the Emeritus. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and kill this. Pay the ward. They draw. Pretty nice for them. What do we draw? Land. Pass it back. If I go like Ark into Scrollsmith, I don't have the Daydream in my graveyard, but I do have ways to like win from this position if they draw nothing but lands, pretty much, you know? Kind of a tough game one. Not really what we're designed to be great against. Just too many value creatures on their end. Superior Spider-Man. Gotta assume they're copying the Emeritus of Ideation here. They do. Draw more cards. 21 left in their deck. 18 left in their deck. Okay. Pretty unlikely for me to win this. I'm gonna draw one more card here. If it's anything good, well, it's a Day of Judgment. I guess I'll chill for a second. See if they commit anything else to the board. Not nothing. Hits me for 4. Does the exile thing. Okay. Does the exile thing. Down to 16, plays a land, a million cards in hand, access to another Ancestral Recall. Deceit. Okay, seems pretty good. I get to take my board wipe here. Basically, I'm at the point where it's like, if I just draw another land, I scoop here. But I'd like to see my next draw. And we scoop it up. As the legends foretold. Okay. Let's go ahead. Consider how this plays out. I think we definitely want the Lynxes. Maybe we don't bother with the Day of Judgments at all, and we just try to be the aggro, basically. They have so much endless grind, you know? I think we just like bring in all of our creatures. Try to tilt that direction. Let's go down on a Daydream. They have some instant speed interaction, right? Cut in a road, cut a Ghost Vacuum. Cut the Pursue the Past, bring in the Figure of Fable. Now I'm on 19 creatures. I have just a lot more threats that they have to deal with. I think this kind of makes sense to me. Bring in the Elspeth. Go down to Helix. Helix actually is just not that good here. In general. Maybe I'd rather just have the full set of Erodes to like kind of ramp off of, maybe. Or Daydream. 3 Daydream, 3 Erode. Ghost Vacuum's okay, but they just have so many answers to it, you know. Okay, let's go 3 Ghost Vacuum, 1 Lightning Helix. 2 Helix, 2 Erode? Yeah, 2 Helix, 2 Erode. Just to have more options with my Scrollsmith late game, right? I don't think I really want to be in a place where I'm, like, eroding their stuff. You know what I mean? I think I'd rather just, like, make them deal with my stuff and try to be a little more aggro slanted. It's okay. Slow. But we can do the cool, like, Novice Inspector Erode thing. Also having, like, a Ghost Vacuum in hand means that they are probably more likely to answer the Ghost Vacuum early in order to open up their, like, Caballero stuff, which might mean I get to, like, do Ark of Hunger things. I'm gonna put my stuff out here. They go for the Deceit. Taking a peek at my hand. Okay. They do get to nab an Ark. It's pretty good for them. Erode in hand, 2 lands. Draw into Sunspine Lynx. Not nothing. Hit you for 1. Just pass. Awaken the Honor Dead. Presumably hitting my Ghost Vac here. Nothing I really want to exile. Go for a redraw. Shepherd. Okay, let's hold the Erode. Another Ghost Vacuum. Hit you for 1. I guess let's just go ahead and get this Lynx going. It's a pretty relevant beater that they kind of have to deal with here. I'm going to take more damage than they will, but just having the body on the board I think is the important thing. They mill over 2 Cornucopias, which is kind of nice for me. They hit a Duress, probably to take this other Ghost Vac. They do. I'm curious to know how much removal they maybe ended up cutting. Okay, another Honored Dead here. Daydream, actually kind of big for me with this Shepherd in hand to work with. I think I just want to land off the first one. Maybe that's wrong. Flicker the Shepherd. Grab a Figure of Fable here, right? They don't actually really have anything they can grab with the Awaken the Honor Dead quite yet. Play a Figure of Fable. Present a pretty good aggressive board for next turn. They do get to mill first to see some more options. I don't know. Okay, they do hit a Deceit, but they don't have enough mana to fully cast the Deceit. The scariest scenario would be they, like, hit Deceit plus Caballero, right? They want to grab this land. Interesting. 5 mana. They know about my Erode. Let's go for the Figure of Fable. I mean, I'm on the board here, right? So if they have, like, counter magic, it's not really good. Hit them. I'm going to level up the Figure of Fable here. Do you have a Scrollsmith for... Could, like... Scrollsmith a Ghost Vacuum? But that's bad into them having, like, Quandrix Command, right? I'm just going to put them to 1. Or try to. Rakshasa's Bargain. They kind of have to have a board wipe here, but given what they saw game 1, right? They might just not have that. And they scoop. They don't even want to see anything else there. I think this plan makes sense to me. I think the plan makes sense. Try it again. Just run it back. I don't think I need to mess with my plans at all. Try it again. Match 3, game 3 on the draw. Not a great hand, but I am going to keep it. That's a good draw. Maybe you just lead on the planes there. It probably doesn't super matter. Happy to see the Ghost Vacuum, though. They may snipe it. Oh, they have double Starting Town, which is actually kind of scary for them. like with my sort of aggro tilt here. I'm gonna grab the Ghost Vacuum, or play the Ghost Vacuum here. I might go for the Erode on my Novice Inspector. Just try to jam this Lynx as quickly as possible. Kind of makes sense to me. Kind of a window where they can't counter this, right? Get the Lynx going, slow down their life gain. Try to just hit them, you know? Just try to hit them. Cross my fingers that they don't have like a shoot the sheriff ready. Awaken the Honor Dead. Yes. It is good. But once again, you know, all of our like good Daydream creatures are also good Ghost Vacuum creatures, right? So eventually we will be seeing that Lynx ETB once more. Hopefully, if they don't have an answer to the Ghost Vacuum here. Oh, we draw an Ark of Hunger. I'm going to go for that. Pretty well tapped out here. Shepherd off the Ark. Not ideal. Daydream off the top. Do we want this? I think so. With the Shepherd in hand. I'm going to set an upkeep stop to exile that off of Ark, I think. Because I'm pretty likely to play it. Deceit. Hardcast. They have options here. I'm going to guess they're going to take the Ghost Vacuum here, though. We'll see. Or bounce the Ghost Vacuum. Because it kind of stops their plan a little bit in an annoying way. I don't know. I guess they got options. There's also just the threat of me like... Oh no, they target the Ark. Okay. I'm going to use this window, I suppose, to drain them for one. I don't need the upkeep stop anymore. And them tapping out here means I'm guaranteed to do my Daydream thing with the Shepherd, which is pretty good. Unless they take the Shepherd, which they don't. Warp the Shepherd. Get some pretty good card advantage going here. I could grab a Curious Farm Animals at this juncture to kill off the Cornucopia. I actually think that's probably pretty worth it long term. Shock myself. Let's just kill off the Cornucopia now. I think the threat of them gaining like quite a lot of life is a little more relevant right now, like with the way I've boarded. Flicker the Shepherd. Let's grab our Figure of Fable here. Pass it back. We can Ghost Vacuum whatever they target with Awaken the Honor Dead if they choose to go that route. And I have a pretty relevant flyer that they have to manage here. They want to grab the Gloom-like Verge. They could have a Caballero in hand. I think I just let them do this, right? Because if they're like, okay, you exiled my Gloom-like Verge Caballero, you know? I think that's okay. I'm just going to let them take it. They could have a 6-mana Deceit is what they're going for. Emeritus. Okay. Yeah, it is what it is. Pretty good. Maybe I was supposed to stop him for grabbing it. I don't know. In retrospect, you know, hindsight being 2020. But I do have a pretty loaded up Ghost Vacuum here. I guess I take the Farm Animals. A little more relevant for me than the Ideation. Although hitting their graveyard is kind of nice to be able to just do that right now. Okay, I'll take the Emeritus here. Let's pop the Ghost Vacuum. Develop our board a bit here. Hit them with the Lynx. Hit us with the Lynx. Kind of going into the danger zone a little bit. Grab a Novice Inspector for the future. Play our Figure of Fable. Got some good chumps now. And they can't gain life right now. Withering Curse. Yuck. Wow. What an answer. What an answer. I think I just take this. I don't have great answers anyway, but maybe I can force a draw if I draw a Lynx. Crack a clue. Shepherd. I guess I just have to hope that they don't have anything. Hit them for 4. Warp the Shepherd. Try to daydream it. And play this Novice Inspector. Grab a Plains. You know, I'm just going to go for this. We play to win, not to not lose, right? They have a Quandrix Charm. Huge. All right. Kind of a tough matchup. Pretty tough. I think there was that critical moment there where maybe I should have taken the exile on the land, but I was worried about what could have been, and I guess maybe not the thing right in front of me. But didn't they discard a land to pick up that land? So it felt very weird. Maybe they didn't need the land anyway. They just wanted to see what I would do, you know? Not saying I would have won that game had I gone for the exile, but definitely an interesting opportunity there to maybe change the outcome. I don't know. Anyway, match 4 on the draw. Good opener. Snap Keep Reno. Okay, Island, sleight of hand. Okay. Hey. It really never gets old having a turn 1 Ghost Vacuum against the sleight of hand deck. I don't know if there's a better feeling. Rip a Flow State. Natty Flow State. Or exiling the Stiff. Doesn't really matter what we pick here. Let's just go for the Inspector, play a tapped Foundry here. Pass it back. Our hand is decent right now. We could use some action for sure. Drake Hatcher. Okay. Wouldn't mind a slide or a seam rip off the top here. At least we have a board wipe for the eventuality. Continue to manage their graveyard. Lightning Helix is not bad. I'll just play this and pass. I could go for the Helix for some action. I don't know. If they have like a cantrip, like an opt that they're thinking about ripping here, better to just pass, right? Catch them off guard. They're thinking about it. Well, they go for a Burst Lightning. Ooh, okay. I'll take it. Lightning Helix the Drake Hatcher. And they Burst Lightning my Novice Inspector? You got it, dude. Who cares? I guess they just wanted to remove a blocker, but they get punished for it in the end. Pretty mightily. Sleight of hand. Excellent. Hitting their land drops, cast a stock up. Now that's not something we like to see, but I'm sure they're pretty happy to be casting stock ups. Continue to manage their graveyard here. We'll just take the 1 instant for now. Play a Shepherd. I'm going to warp this one and then plan to crack the clue. Grab a Novice Inspector. We have lands. Pass it back. Opponent possibly going up to 5 mana, so they could cast a Crab here if they hit their land drop and just like want to put a 5/5 on the field. Might be something they do. They have a Slick Shot show off that they're hard casting. Yeah, I don't know. Almost every good Prowess opponent I run into just plots the Slick Shot show off basically every time. You know, there are like some scenarios where if you're like going for the kill in that turn, you're going for the kill. You maybe want to just cast the Slick Shot show off, but it's not that good here, right? I'm at 23. They're gonna chunk me for some damage, but now my Day of Judgment looks really good. I kind of feel like this is a bit hasty, perhaps, literally, but also figuratively. Go for a redraw. Continue to manage their graveyard here. They only have red mana available, so the board wipe will be good. I think I'm just going to play my Inspiring Vantage. Pass it back. We have a Ghost Vacuum to manage there. Storm Chaser's talents. At a pretty healthy life total. A lot of value to work with. We will win the game eventually, I believe. They may eventually, like, you know, given enough time, fully level up these Storm Chaser's talents, which could be a problem, but I don't think we're that slow that, like, that's going to be the game-winning play for them, you know? Usually it's more of a desperation thing than anything. They're peeping my Ghost Vacuum. Yeah, it's a card I think you kind of have to be thinking about main decking in this sort of like mid-rangey, grindy strategy. It's just relevant in a lot of matchups. Get my Shepherd going, I guess. Grab more Inspectors. Play the Parlor here. Scrollsmith is a good draw. Pass it back. Passerino. Basics to pick up the Storm Chaser's talent. The classic. Yeah, but at this point, like, these otters don't really matter that much. They do have 5 cards in hand, which is not nothing. Not nothing. Burst Lightning to kill the Shepherd. Makes sense to me. I don't know. I think maybe I don't even bother managing their graveyard anymore. I guess it's worth it to keep them off of easy flow states. What is with this secret identity? They're just doing it so they can flow state? Wild Ride. Oh. Oh, okay. They hit me for 9. That's not bad. Cool. I'm down to 9. I didn't expect that. Yeah, let's just take the Wild Ride. Although, I could just take 2 instants, right? How relevant is the Wild Ride really from the graveyard? I'm going to start managing the instants just to keep flow state from being an option. Let's go ahead and Scrollsmith this Lightning Helix, kill the Otter. Stabilize my life total a little bit that way. I think I'm okay to tap out for double Inspector here. Now we have a board. And 4-turn clock. Not nothing. I guess if they have 6 mana, then they need 7 mana. Crab plus Wild Ride. Yeah, okay. So they go for the flow state. Let's nab the secret identity here. Force them to cast another instant before they get the full value off this flow state. They do not. They take 1 card. Another Boomerang Basics. Storm Chaser's Talent. 2 mountains. Draw into a Scrollsmith. Hit him with the Pursue the Past. Draw into a Day of Judgment, huh? I don't think I really need that at this point. I'm going to cast this Scrollsmith and use it to cast this Pursue the Past. Okay, there's our Ark, finally. Pretty well set up for it, too. I think I'm going to hit him with everything here. Actually, maybe I just leave that back to the Inspectors in case they have some kind of crazy Eddie Mert Crab play. I don't think it super matters. We are nearing eventuality, though. Nearing our inevitability. Still at a decent life total. The thing about this Prowess deck that's just so good is, like, it presents some crazy openers, but also has longevity in a way that, in the history of Magic, basically, no standard aggro deck has ever had. Which is kind of crazy to think about. Like, it really holds its own in the long game, you know? Never count them out when they have Storm Chaser's Talon, even though I have this Ghost Vacuum, right? It's kind of the only thing keeping me in this. Like, if I didn't have the Ghost Vacuum to manage their Storm Chaser's Talons, they'd just be able to accrue so much material. The talents and the flow states, right? They'd be accruing so much material and just, like, eventually find their combo again, you know? The combo being Slickshot Show Off into cast a million spells. Which is apparently very easy to do. It makes it a very good deck. But we got Ghost Vacuum. Zoink Scoob. 2 cards left. They bounce my Ghost Vacuum after going for the Storm Chaser's Talent activation. Yeah, I don't understand that one. Swinging in for 2 here in the face of my 3/2 first strike. I mean, I'm going to go for the block. If you want to spend another, like, secret identity to save your otter, I think that's okay. They do. Fine. Kind of a weird sequencing there for my opponent. We have Ark plus Daydream here. It'll Lightning Helix off the Ark. Let's just go ahead and take them off the Otter. Play the Ghost Vacuum. Play the land. Hit them with everything. And yeah, I kind of think they can't win from this position. Let's begin the Daydream thing. I'm going to show it to them, I guess. I don't really have to do this, but there's maybe an argument even for not doing this, just by the nature of this being game 1. And I'm kind of, like, not really showing my hand, but it's not a super intuitive combo, right? They hit a land. We have the Ghost Vacuum. Scoop it up. Let's go to game 2. Come on, dude. You think I'm not gonna nab your Boomerang Basics this time around? Hit you with everything. Great. On to game 2. People are weird, man. Just like Scoop, you know? You drew a land? Okay, I'm dead. Like, you don't tell me you've ever won from that position. Like, I don't really get it. Okay. Pyroclasms seem pretty good against this variant. They're, well, Drake Hatcher. We never saw a crab, but I'm going to assume they have some amount of crab. I'll bring in the Pyroclasms. It definitely has its moments. Bring in the Voice of Victories. Go down on our, like, combo a little bit here, just because by the nature of my Scrollsmiths and Starfield Shepherds being 2 toughness, that makes my Daydream a little worse overall against their Burst Lightnings and whatnot. We could probably cut a land too. 23. This seems okay. I don't think we want the full Seam Rips, but maybe. I mean, I think everything looked good for us there. Maybe we don't want the full set of Day of Judgments. We could probably go down to 3 and then add another Seam Rip. This looks okay. It's not fantastic, but it's not awful. Sleight of hand. Wouldn't mind drawing a Ghost Vacuum here. Pyroclasm. Could be good. See what my opponent opts to do. I think I might just rip the turn 2 Pursue the Past to try to set up better turn 3. Otherwise, I could, like, hold a Lightning Helix if they have a Slickshot Show Off. Yeah, I think I'm gonna, like... Okay, well, we do hit an Inspiring Advantage. I think I'm gonna go Pursue the Past here. Actually, in retrospect, I probably should have just played the Voice of Victory. I'm gonna go for this. See if I can bait them like to commit the board, bait them into committing to the board. I'm gonna skip on the erode. There's our ghost vacuum. See how hard they decide to go here into the face of my pyroclasm. Stray catcher, pretty nice. They might not do anything, I guess. Okay. I think I'm gonna go Voice of Victory into Ghost Vacuum, playing around Spell Pierce that way. And then also this, like, helps guarantee that my Day of Judgment will resolve if I untap with the Voice of Victory, right? Start pressuring their graveyard. They could get a pretty good hit in here. I do need to top deck a land also. Is not the best place to be in. They go for a Burst Lightning on the Voice of Victory. Are they going to commit another one? Double Burst Lightning on the Voice of Victory. Yeah, okay. Going for a big hit. Well, I mean, if I draw a land, I am going to go for the Day of Judgment. Opt. Oh, they're really all in here. Okay, well, they get a big hit. Can they recover if I Day of Judgment them? If I get to Day of Judgment. Otherwise, I get to Pyroclasm, which is fine, but not quite as good. At least it'll deal with the show-off. I guess I could just heal. Okay, well, now it's pretty good that they're spending this incubation counter. They definitely should have held on to that. Nab the Sleight of Hand. We do hit a land. Go for the board wipe. Feels pretty good. Pass it back, and now Pyroclasm is going to be pretty good against their, like, recovery scenario where they have, like, talent plus boomerang basics in hand, right? Opt. Only instants in their graveyard, so flow state is off the table here. Slick shot show off. I still kind of think they need to be plotting this. Like, is the 1 damage here really worth it? You know, you're choosing to expose this slick shot show off to my removal, where you could instead choose to play the long game essentially, and hold on to the show off in plot until you have all of the pieces to go for the kill with, like, you know, a much more resilient attack, basically. The idea being you eventually draw into a secret identity or spell pierce or what have you, right? I'm not killing them, so by exposing the slick shot show off, it's basically saying, like, I don't know. It's a very short-sighted play, I think. Lets me go for the seam rip, and then if they go for a secret identity, I get to Helix, which is super nice. Play the Inspector. I could crack a clue now to try to hit land drops. I think it's probably actually worth it. Nah, actually, I'll just wait. I'll do the safe thing. I'll hold up Lightning Helix and crack the clue on their instep. Stray catcher. Okay. Pretty good. Crack a clue. Well, there is the plains. That's nice. Continue to manage their graveyard. I think that's okay. If I attack, do you think they block? I think I'm just gonna pass again. There's kind of an argument for going for the Lightning Helix and then, like, hitting them, going for a Pyroclasm, and then try to, you know, have the Lightning Helix as backup, but I think I'll just pass here. Sleight of hand. Okay. Yeah, maybe I should have gone for the Lightning Helix there. I'm just planning on chumping, to be honest. Boomerang basics on the slick shot show off. Or on the seam rip, okay. That seems a little wasteful. They're not really going to get much more off of this with no other blue mana available. Burst Lightning for the Novice Inspector. Okay. Well, now I get to Helix the show off and seam rip the Drake Hatcher, which is kind of exactly where I want to be. I also maybe could have just seam ripped the Hatcher and gone for a Pyroclasm. But let's preserve as much of our life total as we can here. Yeah, I don't know that I can actually really effectively manage their graveyard at this point. I guess I can keep them off of sorceries. Let's continue to do that. Go for the seam rip. I think I actually just flashback to pursue the past. No, let's play the Ark. I think this is a good Ark window. I don't think they can really kill me here. With 2 cards, probably. It would have to be like double Wild Ride, basically. Because I have this Ghost Vacuum I can use to go up to 8 life. Untapping with the Ark of Hunger is a pretty big deal here. Maybe like show off into Wild Ride is pretty good. Boomerang basics on the seam rip. Yeah, I don't know. They could have definitely played this game a little slower. Into stock up. You definitely should just stock up first. Just stock up first. Assess your options. See if you hit like Storm Chaser's Talent, and then you're like kind of still in the game with the Boomerang basics in hand, but bouncing my seam rip is literally so do nothing in this juncture, right? And they do hit a Storm Chaser's Talent, but gonna be a little too late. Okay. They have too many sorceries, too many instants for me to care about their graveyard here. I'm just gonna start exiling my stuff. Pad my life total a little bit more. Hit and erode. That's not nothing. Activate the Ark. Day of Judgment. Yeah. Easy choice. Easy choice. I could just seam rip the Storm Chaser's Talent here, but I'm gonna hold on to the seam rip in case they have another Drake Hatcher. They get to rip this flow state for full value. Nothing I can do to stop that. Graveyard 2 full at this point, but I have Erode, I have Seam Rip, I have Pyroclasm. Great answers to any sort of draws that they could hit here. They're rebuilding card advantage, but I think it's going to be a little too late. No lands to play means they have action in hand. Mill off the Ark. Pyroclasm. I kind of think maybe you just cast it for the life gain. It's kind of funny. Maybe I do actually seam rip the Storm Chaser's Talent here, just to keep them off of basics on the talent as sort of an option for longevity here. We hit another Ghost Vacuum, which is a pretty big deal. Speeds up my clock quite a lot. Yeah, I think I'm just going to let the Ghost Vacuum, or I'm going to let the Pyroclasm die. Just cast this Ghost Vacuum here. Hold up a road. Flick Shot Show Off. Make them go for it. I'm at 13 right now, effectively, with the Ghost Vacuum activations. There's another Storm Chaser's Talent. Two cards left. They do have the Boomerang basics to pick up the talent here. I think I'm supposed to erode the Slick Shot Show Off here. They don't have any way to protect it. Save myself that much more life, right? Feels pretty good. Have more basics. Playing quite a lot of basics. Nothing but mountains, though. Nice for me. Let's start eating up my graveyard here. Best target, or best top deck from this position is just another Ark. It goes pretty crazy. One thing you need to kind of be mindful of when you're eating your graveyard with the Ghost Vacuum is leaving like options for yourself. If you manage to top deck a Scrollsmith, you want to be able to like have options for when that eventually happens. Novice Inspector. I guess I should have surveilled after playing this Shepherd here. Let's just warp the Shepherd. Get maximum value off of this. Try to hit a piece of removal might be nice. But I think it's a little too far gone anyway. Pass it back. We do not win quickly here. That is not the name of the game. An hour and 40 minutes into recording. I think it's a little obvious by now. Pretty likely to take this match though. Slide into a nice 3-1 and have one final match to play. See if I beat my record from yesterday of a 2-hour recording session. With possibly longer than that today. Opponent's looking at my stuff. Yeah, I got Ghost Vacuums, baby. Turns out they're kind of good. Into the Floodmaw. Bouncing Seam Rip once again. Seam Rip has returned to me. Is this like the third time I've had my Seam Rip bounced? The same Seam Rip, perhaps? Kind of crazy. More Otters. Nothing in hand. Couple measly Storm Chasers talents. Come on, dude. We don't have to do this anymore. I am inevitable. That's my best Thanos impression. I am inevitable. Rated on a scale of 1 to 10, please. Exile your Boomerang basics. Do a Chumperino. Get stuff in my graveyard to Ghost Vacuum. Drain ya. Day of Judgment. Hey, that's a pretty good draw. Day of Judgment, it's kind of always a good draw. I might as well swing for one. It's kind of always good. Play the Novice Inspector. Get a clue. Play the Starfield Shepherd. Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty resounding victory here. Pass it back to my opponent. Got a couple useless Otter talents on the field. I guess this one can level up all the way. They insist on leveling this one up. I will eat the Boomerang basics. What do they think is gonna happen? That I'm just gonna like misclick? What's the psychology here? I don't understand, but I am 3-1. On to the final match. Match 5 on the play. Can we go for 1? I'm gonna keep this. Double Surveil land helps me try to avoid some flooding here. Not the worst opener. Okay, skip on a land. I've been liking the erode my own Novice Inspector idea. This league. Been pretty fun. Flood Farm Verge for my opponent. Skip on some lands here. Curious to see if this is the 4-color. Okay. Possibly Azorius Tempo? In which case, having Seam Rip is good because... Sorry, because High Noon is like really annoyingly good against this deck. It shuts down a lot of what we're trying to do. And really punishes us in the face of their like tempo plays, like the Aven Interrupter and Aang and stuff. Kind of the classic point of the list, I suppose. I think they have like counter magic in hand though, based on the way that they just kind of passed through this. Mana Sculpt. Counter target spell. If you control a wizard, add an amount of colorless equal to the amount of mana. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Some kind of Azorius control build. I'm just going to Daydream or flashback the Daydream here. Seems like a good window to do it. Kind of nets me a card in the process regardless. Makes my Novice Inspector a 2/3, which means they kind of have to deal with it, right? They're missing land drops. Well, I'm kind of right there with you. Crack the clue. Insofar as not having action or relevant action here. But I'd rather be in that position than missing land drops, I suppose. I don't know. Probably have a lot of dead cards here, unfortunately, for this game one. Fabled Passage from my opponent. Finds a mountain. Jeskai. Okay. Jeskai Rev, a possibility. Tablet of Discovery. It's a consult to start charts. That's a little annoying. Resolve the consult. I had to go use the bathroom. It's just been such a long league. I had to step away for a second. Whew. All right. Lock in. I don't think I'm winning this game. My hand is so bad right now. My best draw is probably the Pursuit, the something something. I don't exactly remember the name of the card. Just to filter away some of this garbage. Practice Swordsmith. I guess I'm going for it. Gives me a target for these maps. Erode, skip. Yeah, this is a pretty tough matchup, game one, with the way my deck is positioned. Skip these erodes. 5/4 Scrollsmith, not nothing. I can't manage the tablet here. Pretty likely for me to lose this one. At this point. A million cards in their hand. We know they're Jeskai, so they're almost certainly on Jeskai Rev. They're reading my cards. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm gonna play it out. I thought about scooping. There was a moment there where I was like, I think I'm just gonna scoop, but I'm gonna play it out. Ghost Vacuum eating stuff up. The Day of Judgments clean up the monk tokens at the very least, right? They have Day of Judgments of their own. And we'll take a Novice Inspector. It's not nothing. Little redraw. Maybe I should have put it in my graveyard just to be able to crack this Ghost Vacuum that much better next turn. Certainly they have to like deal with the Ghost Vacuum. Abrade. Yacht. I guess we'll hit their Jeskai Rev here in case they have a flashback. Helix my Inspector. Maybe we're in this. One Abrade down's kind of nice. Abrade's my clue? Get a life. Come on. There's no way that's the line. Crack the clue now. There's no way that's the line. Abrade's my clue. I'm so happy to see double Abrade down, right? With my Ark of Hunger game plan here. Start hitting them. They fire up the Great Hall. I guess I'll just erode it. I don't think erode has too many other targets. Yeah, it kind of feels like they really didn't accomplish much off of that Jeskai Rev in retrospect. They Helix my Inspector. That's great for me. Because it means eventually, like, the way they actually win is just by burning me outright. But by spending all of this, like, removal on my... These helixes on my inspectors, like, just wait until you hit your board wipes, right? You draw a Starfield Shepherd, which is not that bad. Oh, only 2 other targets for this. Good to know. Grab our last Inspector. 2 helixes down. Presumably 3 Jeskai Revs left. I guess I'll crack this clue. Doesn't super duper matter here. Sacred Foundry. Okay. Pass it back. Fire up the Great Hall. Fine. Permanently online, so a little soft to the Day of Judgments. Another Great Hall. They don't even attack? What the hey? Draw into an erode. Huh. I wonder if I can get them to commit another Great Hall to the field before I cast this Shepherd. Fire up the second one. Nope, they just pass. Okay. Because ideally I nab both of the Great Halls with a board wipe. I'm kind of surprised they're not attacking, to be honest with you. Okay, I guess I'll just cast the Shepherd then. I have 3 mana available to pay for No More Lies. Grab an island. I guess if I... Or grab a plains. I guess if I, eventually get them to fire up the Great Hall, I don't really mind killing my own Starfield Shepherd in the process here. They're going for a Jeskai Rev. Kill the Shepherd, bounce their tablet. That's nice. I don't see people bounce their tablets too often, but it makes a lot of sense. I'm just surprised that I don't see it very often. No, it's Traumatic Critique for 10 damage to my face. I guess that's a way to win. I guess you don't need the Lightning Helixes if you're just going to eventually dome me for half my health, huh? Okay. I take everything back. I do have a Lightning Helix to gain some surprise life here in the face of a second Traumatic Critique. See what they got going on. Swinging in. I'm just going to double block. Try that out for size. Give up my Starfield Shepherd here. Hold on to the Helix. Firing Vantage. Just pass. I need to be able to Helix in response to the Traumatic Critique. I can't let them Traumatic Critique in response to my Helix, right? Thunder Trap Trainer. Ooh. No. No, don't. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Just rip the Jeskai Rev right now so I can wipe your board. Goes for the tablet instead. It's a Mana Sculpt. No one cares. Back to me. We hit a Shepherd, which you and I both know doesn't really do anything. But I think I might as well play it. It might force them to, like, Jeskai Rev the Shepherd with its damage. I think I'd rather see them point it in that direction. At least my opponent's playing with some pace. That's nice. They're faster than me right now. Day of Judgment. Okay. Vantage. Pass. I have to Helix a Monk and probably erode a Great Hall. Yeah, bounce your own tablet, right? Like, isn't that 100% the play in this position? Get lost on the Monk to prevent me from gaining life. Not my opponent's first rodeo. Pass it back. Going for maps. Well, might as well erode here, I suppose. Might not matter. They could just have another Jeskai Rev in hand. Huh. 2 Seam Rips in hand that have been dead all game. Fires up the Great Hall. I mean, if they just have like a Lightning Helix here, I'm dead. Has map. Reveals a tablet. Decides to keep that on top. Shocks in a Steam Vents. Can cast a Jeskai Rev. Might as well go for it. I got nothing, my friend. You got it. Okay. Fair enough. Hey, we put up kind of a fight-ish. Or we prolonged to the game, at least. Game 1. Let's see if our Sunspine Lynx plan has any merit here. Bring in the farm animals as well. So, cut down on the Seam Rips. Ghost Vacuum is not great here. They don't care about their graveyard that much. I'm just going to skip on it. It's okay. It can be okay, but with their braids and whatnot, I think we'll just pass. I think the Lightning Helixes are okay for like stabilizing our life total. Let's just go down the Day of Judgments and try to be like the aggro, you know, essentially. We actually don't want the erodes at all, so. Though the ramp idea with the erode has been kind of interesting. No, let's just keep the Ghost Vacuums instead. Could be another like thing they have to deal with, right? Eventually. Try it like that. I think this is a tough matchup. But you know, if I manage to stick like an early Voice of Victory that they might not expect, could be good. Really kind of depends on how they choose to board here. All right. On the play, not bad. Not bad, not great, not bad. Go for the Inspector. I guess I probably didn't have to shock myself there. There's maybe an argument for like playing it a little slow. I'm planning to Daydream turn 2 anyway. But if I don't draw a land, okay, I do draw a land. Okay, you know, it all kind of works out here. Let's just play the Parlor. Ark on top, sure. I think that's okay. Triple Arcs. Try to exhaust their interaction. Triple Arc, huh? Flicker the Inspector. Got some maps or some clues to work with to try to hit our land drops. Island. Got to assume they're going to pass here. Although, you know, they might not be on No More Lies. But they could have brought in, like, negates or something. I don't know. You're never really sure what your opponent's up to with these lists. They go for the Get Lost. Okay. Huh. Goes for the Get Lost. 2 basics on the field, by the way. 1 non-basic. Goes for the Tablet of Discovery. It's a land, but they're just using this as ramp. That's okay. We hit a bad land, and then we hit a good land. I'm going to go for my Ark here. Because they're not 4-color, right? So it's pretty good for us to stick this here. I mean, they've shown us the Abrades, but they never saw the Ark game 1. Hollowed Fountain, 6 mana available for instants and sorceries. Thunder Trap Trainer. Takes a Return the Favor. Okay, I don't think I care about that too much. Activate the Ark here. Mill over the Curious Farm Animals. That's a little bit unfortunate. I think I would have liked to have that in my deck. Go for another Ark. I guess I forced them to counter this second Ark, right? No, they just have a Consult. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we are getting somewhere. 2 Arcs on the field. Play the Plains. Drain them for 2. Activate second Arc. Antiquities on the loose. Well, not irrelevant, because it's effectively drawing the flashback side of that with that mill, so that's not too bad. They might decide to bring in Rest in Pieces for game 3. They currently are in the realm of Jeskai Rev. Force them to do it here. Hitting a land. Activate the second Arc. Hit a Ghost Vacuum. Kind of huge. Play a land. Triggers on the stack. Start to drain them. You know, we could win this one. Play the Ghost Vacuum. I want to force them to use their Jeskai Rev at an inopportune time. Go for the map. I guess I just play the links here, huh? I guess I just play the links here. They're definitely going to counter, like, counter bounce, right? Or I guess bounce and then deal 4 to me? Or kill my Inspector? Yeah, I don't really care about the Inspector. Okay, bounces the links. This is fine. Pretty unlikely that they're just going to kill me with this board. Pass it back. I'm at 24, they're at 13. 8 mana available. Another tablet. And they tap this tablet to cast this tablet, which they might come to regret. I'm not sure what the logic behind that is. Hit another tablet. It's tablets all the way down. That doesn't really win the game. Now they only have one blue source, so counter magic's kind of off the table unless it's Disdainful Stroke? Mysterized Village. They already played a land. Yeah, I'm not sure that I agree with how they chose to sequence these turns here. I don't know that what's in their hand, but you go for a stock up fully tapping out. I think they're just dead. They have a Return the Favor, but that really doesn't matter. I don't know what they think I'm doing, but now they've, or rather, I don't know what they thought I was doing after game 1, but now they have a pretty good idea. Activate the Ghost Vacuum. Drain them for 2. Activate the Ark. Activate the Ark. And then I can play a 3rd Ark here. Just go for it, right? Because they're effectively tapped out. Voice of Victory. Sundown Pass. Activate the Ark. Antiquities. I guess I couldn't kill them outright here, but maybe I missed a lethal. The links would have only done 3 damage, right? Pass it back. I mean, they have infinity mana to work with, basically, but a lot of stuff that they kind of have to deal with here. And pretty hard to interact with stuff. I guess I'll set an upkeep stop to be able to activate my Ark on my upkeep here. Because I want to cast that Voice of Victory. There's a Jeskai Rev. Bounces my voice. Drains me for 4. And then they're going to return the favor, perhaps, to copy it. But it's just not going to be enough damage. Like, it's fine. I get to bounce one of my Arks. I'm going to go ahead and activate this to drain them a little here. So they'll go up to 10. I have Sunspine links for 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll hit me for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're gonna put me to. Oh, they have a lightning helix. That's pretty good. Okay, I don't know. Maybe they survive another turn. They're like pretty much just straight up tapped out here, though. 1 mana available. Let's activate the Ark here. Then draw. Another Lynx. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. 9. I think I go R. I don't think they have like spell pierces here, right? I think I play another Ark. Play the Voice of Victory. Maybe I do just lose here. Activate Ark, activate Ark. Hit 2 tapped lands, unfortunately. That's a lot of monks. It's a lot of monks. I can put myself at a decent life total, but yeah, this is just such a miserable matchup. I don't know. Maybe I should have thought about trying to get a Lynx on the field earlier or sooner. Oh, you know what? I have the Scrollsmith in hand. I bet I don't think I quite had enough mana to like combo out, but it would have been kind of close. Hitting these tap lands is a little unfortunate off the Arcs, but I think that's what I got. Passing the Vantage. Pass it back. I think I'm probably just dead. I mean, they kind of have to have all lands in hand. Not my favorite end to this run. A little unsatisfying, perhaps. A little unsatisfying, but triple Arc on the field, not good enough to withstand the stabilization potential of the Jeskai Rev. Although they're going for a Thunder Trap Trainer, digging with a stock up. Maybe they don't have lethal here. Actually, they're definitely gonna have lethal with the 6 monks. That's the real problem, right? Maybe I should have kept my board wipes in just for this kind of scenario. It's a little counterintuitive because it's a control deck, but a lot of the ways they do win these games is like just untapping with a million monks and hoping that like I just don't have an answer to that board, you know? Yeah, that's a tough matchup. If you don't like losing that matchup, you know, I don't know if this is the right deck. I also think there's maybe an argument for like, once again, as I mentioned at the top of the video, that my sideboard is not actually the best suited for that matchup. I think the Sunspine Lynx plan is interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I like the deck. Let me know what you think. I think it's really fun. I think when we run into stuff that's even bigger than what we're doing, that's when we have some problems. But everything else, I think we have a pretty good fighting chance against. Long video. Perhaps the longest I've ever recorded. So forgive me if I seem a little tired. But appreciate you watching. Let me know what you think. Hope you have a beautiful day. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.